Welcome to VHS Sisters, a nostalgic movie podcast with two actual real-life sisters.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Seisha.
Get into some comfy clothes, grab your favorite beverage,
and come hang out with us as I force my little sister to watch all the movies she missed growing up. So I want to open with a question today.
Okay.
I'm going to break from our usual format, and I'm just going to go ahead and ask it. How do you feel about musicals?
I actually like musicals. I do. I think there are more that I dislike than I actually like. But at the same time, like some of my favorite, at least one of my favorite movies is a musical, being The Sound of Music.
Wait, Sound of Music is one of your favorite movies?
Yeah, are you kidding? It's just so classic. I just want to be Julie Andrews on a fucking mountain in Austria, swinging my arms and having a good old time. Being free.
Wait, how have we been sisters for how long?
It's such a great, the songs are incredible. Are you kidding? Like everybody knows the musical chord song where it's like, do, a deer, a female deer, Ray, a drop of golden sun. Like,
wait. I can't believe that you've been my sister for 33 years. We've never watched it together. We've never watched the Von Trapps together.
I think we might have. I've seen it. It's what, okay, so then to argue the point of like, why haven't you seen all of these movies? They're always on in the house. Sound of Music was on in the house. I did sit and watch it. The dad was hot. Like, okay.
Let's all say Christopher Plummer, smoking hot dad.
Smoking hot.
Maybe
smoking hot.
Yeah, he's a military man. He's stern.
Mm-hmm.
He's wrestling with a lot of complicated emotions. He hates Nazis.
What more can you ask for?
Green flags.
What I'm saying? Yeah, all green flags.
All green flags.
I mean, he's a widow.
Widower, right?
Widower, right?
Yeah.
So he's available. And that's great.
and most importantly, he's available.
Yeah, no, it's just such a classic movie. And you actually showed your, partner of 15 years, now husband, the movie for the first time. You said he cried.
Oh yeah. What's the part?
As one should, but
I forced Ryan to watch Sound of Music because his childhood musical education was sadly lacking.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like maybe 2 or 3 Thanksgivings ago, because it's kind of like, you watch musicals around Thanksgiving. That's why I thought to
holidays and stuff. Yeah.
Discuss a musical. We're going to get into why I pulled this movie for you. But as far as Sound of Music goes, I made him watch it a few Thanksgivings ago. And I think it was the scene where Christopher Plummer, Captain Von Trapp, comes in and finds his children singing Edelweiss, and he was just like sobbing. And I'm like, yeah, you can't be a man with emotions and not cry when this man rediscovers his love of music through his children.
Right.
It's so good. Yeah, I know. I get a little
I get teary just thinking about it.
Thinking about it. Oh, look at that.
And I will say,
ooh.
And I'm going to hard pause here just in case.
Yeah.
Edit it out.
That's okay.
But I've not seen the original Wicked. I have only seen the latest rendition. Just going to say, not a big fan.
So wait, you say you never saw the stage show of Wicked. You
Correct.
Just seen the movie.
Correct.
We can have a whole Wicked pod.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of love, Cynthia Erivo's version, obviously, of Elphaba. I think she's great. And Ariana Grande, I mean, she's just being Ariana Grande in my mind, like just a little more like on Adderall in this. And that's about it. That's all everyone else I thought was like a little miscast.
Yeah, and they do that a lot with we can start to discuss musicals more, especially screen adaptations of musicals, because we were discussing doing more musicals for this pod, and I feel like theater kids and I reluctantly label myself as a theater kid, even though I went to theater
You
school.
must.
Yeah, I kind of have to. Yeah, no, people who are familiar with the stage adaptations of things, a lot of times, you feel ownership of like certain properties or plays. And when they come out in film, the thing is like they want to pack stars into these movies so people will actually come see them. So
Mhm.
you get a lot of like weird castings where it's like, well, they're not really a great singer,
Yeah,
but
it's like Jeff Goldblum and Peter Dinklage. I'm just like, what are we doing?
you're like you thought that they weren't doing that great of a job.
No.
Yeah, I think both of them were fine. I think yeah, it's well we'll have to have a whole separate Wicked pod to really like get into it
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, the stage and the film versions are a little different, and I think that kind of ties into the Rocky Horror Picture Show really well because we'll talk about how you know this movie if at all,
Mm-hmm.
but do you know that this was a stage production previous to being a movie?
I didn't know that
Oh.
actually, and I did learn that shortly after because I did watch, as it is now the 50th anniversary of Rocky Horror.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch a brief interview with a few actors from it, including Tim Curry, about what it was like, filming it, a couple just random questions that they were asked. And yeah, he was talking about being in the play. So
Right, yeah,
that's,
no.
I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, he knew, I believe he said he knew the guy who wrote it and directed it, who I think is cast in it as well.
Yes. So the man who wrote this whole musical was and is an actor named Richard O'Brien who played Riff Raff,
Yes. Yeah.
like the sort of Igor Butler character.
Who was low
And
key hot.
yeah, okay. So somebody was enjoying Riff Raff.
Not like crazy, but I was like, okay, he's not bad looking. I'll come in this house.
Yeah, so like I don't want to get ahead of myself. I absolutely love Richard O'Brien. There's actually, talking about the 50th anniversary, which is, another reason why I wanted to like really get us to watch this movie sooner rather than later. Cause I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we could wait for like Pride Month. We could wait till next Halloween. Who knows if we're still going to be potting then,
Mm-hmm.
God willing.
Right.
But like, I was like, it's the 50th anniversary. Halloween just passed, but we are still in spooky season. It's set in November, and there's like a little Thanksgiving scene. So it's it's about family in some ways.
Yes, a lot of found family and created family.
Yeah, so there is a documentary that has just come out this fall called Strange Journey that Richard O'Brien's son directed that I haven't seen, and I am dying to see because everybody's in it. Like everybody who was in the movie, Susan Sarandon, Barry Bostwick, Tim Curry, they're all in it. And I love behind the scenes stuff. I'll talk a lot about behind the scenes stuff as much as I can. I really want to like do this justice, but there is like this is maybe the biggest cult movie of all time, I would say, like arguably so. Before we get into the lore, let's keep somewhat of a structure. So, first of all, what are your memories of this movie? Do you have any? Did you know it was a thing? Had you ever
Oh,
seen
I knew
little
it.
bits of
Absolutely, I knew it was a thing. I'm not, totally oblivious to what the world has to offer.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, no, and I don't want this pod to come across like this is a total like theater nerd info dump to somebody who's not into musicals because I feel like that's very tiresome to be.
yeah. I knew Tim Curry in the iconic outfit, right? Like I knew he was Dr. Frankenfurter. I knew he was, a transvestite from transsexual Transylvania.
You
Knew
did
that.
know that. You did know
Yeah,
that.
that was not a surprise. You know what I'm saying? Like, not a surprise. And I knew a little bit of the Time Warp song.
Okay.
God, I feel like, I've had even more associations with, like, I feel like I knew about, like, Susan Sarandon's role in it, but not totally, like, grasping who it was or whatever. But I've known of the film.
Right.
I just don't have as much connections to what the whole thing was about. So it's just like, okay, I knew that these people dance and it's a little scary, and the lips, the iconic lips. And I know that every, was it every Halloween or like every, like around a certain time, like they do the shows, people like recreate it. It's a huge thing. Actually, one of my old roommates was such a big fan. She would always go to like the midnight screenings of it.
And you
So
never went with her.
she went with her partner. That's like a hot date for them. So it's like,
Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I'm
Okay.
not third
Okay.
wheeling on the date, but yeah, no, she was a huge, huge fan. So
God. Okay. So you were, yeah, that's why I was sort of reluctant to like, I had a lot of conflicting feelings about this because I was like, okay, Melanie says she hasn't seen Rocky Horror. She's in her 30s. I don't know if it's too late for her because I feel like this is something like for a lot of people like me, let's just say it that way. You see it as a teen and it like changes your life.
mm-hmm.
So, and I know there's a lot of movies like that where it's like, yeah, if it doesn't catch you like young enough, it might not ever become a part of you. And so,
Right.
like, context is huge here. Like, I saw this. I did not see this in a midnight showing because I saw this as a younger teen. I probably saw it on cable or TV, not on VHS, but it was always on like around Halloween time.
Mm-hmm.
I think for a lot of people, it's like your first experience, especially being raised like Catholic. It's your first experience seeing people who are different. And then also like just knowing like when this was made, 1975 from a 1973 stage play, like how.
Yeah, revolutionary it was, it is.
Yeah, I really can't like geek out about it enough. Like I feel like culturally it's so important and I could just like talk for an hour about that, but that's not what this pod is about. It's about your impressions of the movie. I'll share a little bit of,
Hey, I'm happy to go along the ride. You know what I'm saying? Please info dump. Give us the lore. Because
yeah,
maybe some people are fans of, the movie, the play, whatever, and they haven't totally like did a deep dive. They just like love the music, the vibes, and that's kind of like what I was feeling. I was definitely feeling the vibes as I was watching this. I was along for the ride.
wait,
So,
did you tell me how you watched this movie?
I watched it at home.
But like, were you watching it late? Did you have a
It
fun
was later.
beverage? Okay.
Yeah, it was later. I didn't have any cocktails or anything. I did have a delectable bite of cheesecake. I will tell you that.
I
And
thought
I
you were
was,
going to say an edible.
oh no, no, no. And I was ready to watch this movie. But it's funny because mom came in and she watched it with me a little bit in the beginning and then she left. She was like dancing, and then
That's so
she's like, I'm
oh.
done.
So yeah, I think our mother knows it. I don't know if she's ever sat for the whole thing. This is definitely one of those movies that like, famously so it really made a name for itself on the midnight movie circuit because it completely flopped upon release.
Mm.
And it was revived like a year later because some executive at Fox was like, hey, they need movies for midnight movie showings. They started showing it at the Waverly Theater in Greenwich Village, which is now the IFC Center, I think.
Okay.
And it ran for years and became like this huge cult thing. And I feel like there are people who would say like the first time you see it, it should be in a theater participating, shouting the callbacks, throwing the props, because all that, right? Like people say things at the screen and they dress up and they throw rice and toilet paper and all that stuff. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know people were littering.
People made a mess of theaters because I think it was one of those things that became a cultural phenomena. Like you watch the movie at home, which is how I did it for the first time. It was a solitary experience and it was this very revelatory experience because again, like all of these characters that were so like weird out there, the songs, of course, Tim Curry is Frankenfurter, like all this stuff is very, I'll just say this. I feel like you watch this as a young teen and you're just like, it either changes your life or it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think it changed my life. So I feel like it's important to watch. I don't know if like it hits the same watching it as a woman in her 30s, but like I don't know, I feel like everybody should watch it. And I do feel that you should see it in a live setting. And everybody listening to this, you should see it in a live setting at least once with the shadow cast if you can, because it's very common in a lot of the showings. Not everyone. Sometimes they'll just show the movie and then you throw stuff at the screen and you just shout back. But sometimes, like they do now in New York, I think it's at the Angelica Theater now.
Oh, okay.
They have a shadow cast like up front. So there'll be people like miming the movie while the movie is on. And that's very much a part of it. And for a lot of people, it's like people's first time in drag. It's their first time doing cosplay. So yeah, it's very like, it's one of these movies that like combines theater nerdery, also like punk people, goth people, weird people, people that just don't like fit in. And they say it is sort of like the litmus test. Like if you like this movie, you're a weirdo. And if you don't, you're one of the, you're Brad and Janet,
Oh yeah.
you're one of the normies. So
Janet.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's my experience with it was also solitary watching at home, but it was just something like as soon as I moved to New York, I was like, I gotta see this live. And I think the first time I saw it live was at Chelsea Cinemas in Chelsea. And I definitely saw it more than once. And before that though, in high school, I think one year for Halloween, I was trying to find the picture of it. I dressed up as Columbia. So there's a picture of me and our cousins, and I'm dressed up as Columbia in like the gold sequin bowler hat.
Yeah, I remember that hat.
Yep.
I remember that hat. That was in our Halloween box for a long, long time.
That's where it comes from. I wanted to be Columbia so bad. That was my dream shadow casting. I was like, I got to get to New York and I can tap dance and I want to do this. I never did live that dream, Melanie. So
still can though.
I guess so. Yeah.
Never too late.
I feel like I'm like, if I were casting, I would definitely cast me more as Magenta.
Okay.
And the long wig and the spider eyelashes. And it's a very personal, it's a very important movie. You say you like musicals, some musicals.
Yeah.
But not others. How did you feel about this movie as a musical?
I felt that this movie was actually quite successful as a musical. There was a lot of offerings, a lot of like different types of songs.
Yes.
There's the dance number song, which you gotta love because it tells people how to dance,
And you like songs like that tell you what to do.
Sometimes, like it's an easy way to get people involved because it's like, oh, this is what you're gonna do, right? And then there was like a lot of like, there was like a dramatic song, you know what I'm saying? Like sad songs, crazy songs. Like there was a lot, it wasn't just like all power ballads. I thought it was successful as a musical. I felt like there could have been even more parts of longer scenes of like more acting. I was really interested in getting to know these characters. They kind of threw some at you really quick. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who like write these background stories, or perhaps like the creator of it has these stories somewhere. And I'm not totally sure, how to feel about that. But yeah, go ahead.
I think that the original stage production, which debuted in London in 1973, I believe, I think it was quite short. And I think it was only about 40-ish minutes long.
Oh, wow.
And I know Richard O'Brien, who again wrote the musical, he wrote all the songs, and really he just like wrote it one winter just because he was an out of work actor and he was like trying to get by. He met the director, Jim Sharman. He met him during a production of Jesus Christ Superstar that he was in. And he was like, hey, I have this idea for like this 1950s-ish rock musical. Because at the time, like in the early 70s, there were a lot of musicals that were sort of doing a pastiche of the 1950s, like Little Shop of Horrors, like Grease, stuff like that. So they were kind of like looking back like 20 years from before and being like, oh yeah, we want to do like these sort of Elvis-y, like bubblegum pop 1950s kind of songs. So Richard O'Brien wrote this musical, which combined like elements of glam rock, because at the time there was no punk rock. And people argue that this musical actually created punk fashion. So if you do care about punk fashion, like leather jackets and chains and like incorporating bondage wear into your everyday clothing and lingerie into your everyday clothing, that's very important. But yeah, he combined all these elements, rock and roll, B movies, like specifically B horror, like monster movies, And in the very first song, which is probably my favorite song in the musical, which is a science fiction double feature, it's all the lyrics are just referencing like old movies, like Tarantula and King Kong and Forbidden Planet. And so it kind of like sets the stage. I think it's a really beautiful song. Were there any songs that like stood out to you? I know it's like your first watch, so like you probably don't know the names to things, but any numbers that you can remember people are singing, the scenarios or anything like that?
I would say I think it's one of the ending song perhaps, where it's like "Don't dream it, be it."
Oh wow, I love that.
Everybody is like doing like they like turn them from statues into performers. Everybody's dressed like Dr. Frankenfurter, and they all put on this stage play at his command, but also like to, you know, highlight the star, which is him. So and then Dr. Frankenfurter goes through his whole number, and he's, you know, just really feeling himself, and then he gets interrupted and it turns into a totally different number, which was very emotional, and I liked it, you know. But I would say Don't Dream It, Be It. It's probably one of my favorites that I can recall. And
wow,
this I will say this does warrant multiple rewatches, and I understand why everybody does, you know, commit to it every year. It's something that I feel definitely deserves its iconic status. I mean, especially being something that's 50 years old and still kind of cool and relevant today. Like it seems like this could take place even now. It is relevant.
That's amazing that you felt that it really deserves iconic status even after one watching. Yeah, people definitely see this multiple times. I mean, I was definitely a fan, but you know, maybe I've seen this movie, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like I've seen it at least once a year since I was like 15 or 16 years old.
Oh yeah. Wow, okay.
But there are people who have seen it thousands of times. There are people who have gone every week for years and years and years. There are people who like are hardcore fans who just like, again, they dress up, they're part of the shadow cast, they know there's like a whole online script. There's a couple versions actually that have like all the callbacks on it, and they're just like, they don't want like any gaps in the movie. Like whenever there's silence in the movie, people are shouting something, they're throwing like famously when the couple gets married in the beginning, everybody is meant to throw rice. Like somebody started throwing rice once. Now they don't encourage that anymore because rice is bad for birds. And they don't want birds eating that up.
Yeah, especially dry rice. Yeah.
Yeah. So when they're walking in the rain towards the castle, people bring squirt guns full of water and will squirt at the screen. When Janet has she takes newspaper and she puts it over her head, everybody's supposed to do that. So like you're going along with the movie.
Yeah.
There's so many famous like callbacks too, like when Janet puts the newspaper over her head, a lot of times people will shout, "Get an umbrella, you cheap bitch."
Oh my god.
Yeah, like that's thing, like everybody calls Janet a bitch or a slut, and everybody calls Brad an asshole. Like so whenever Brad says anything, everyone's like, asshole.
Yeah. Oh my god.
You know, yeah, people are singing along. It's very like a Mystery Science Theater kind of vibe. So I feel like I'm going on a couple tangents here, but I feel like it's really important for people who enjoy participatory art. So I kind of liken it to, if you like Rocky Horror, you love Dungeons and Dragons, choose your own adventure, pro wrestling, like things where you as an audience member, punk rock, I'll even say like hardcore punk rock, like your
drag shows,
shows. Yeah, you're a part of it. You're not just like sitting there scrolling on your phone. You've paid money for a ticket and then you just show up, but you're not like present. So it's like, no, you're a part of it. So I feel like, yeah, at some point, maybe we'll do it together. We should go
I'm down.
Go see a live show and like scream things. You can dress up. And yeah, I really love that you connected with that last number, because it is truly an iconic number. Like the floor show, speaking of drag, that floor show at the end is such like a drag race number.
Yeah.
And seeing like
it's a what is it, the acting challenge or whatever, like
it is the RuPaul acting challenge. Yeah, it's like a little bit, they're like, get up there and do it.
Yeah, dance, monkey, dance.
I blame this movie for my inability to wear a corset correctly for years. I blame this movie.
Oh, because you copied Columbia?
I copied Frankenfurter, and then everybody from the floor show, they're all wearing corsets backwards and upside down with the lacing in the front, which doesn't need to happen.
Right.
With like a traditional corset. That's how I thought corsets were worn. So you have to imagine me like a little baby punk kid in like my late teens, early 20s, wearing like some trash and vaudeville corset backwards and upside down. Because I was like, well, this is just how it is. You know, that was my only reference. Yeah, a lot of iconic fashion moments. Were there any outfits that really stuck with you that you enjoyed?
Oh, of course. Absolutely. I mean, this movie is the reason for the season of Dr. Frankenfurter. His outfits, Tim Curry's outfits, even when he's in the lab and wearing like the creepy cloak like over top of his corset and heels, just being like, oh, we're doing science now.
So like that sort of, I don't even know how to describe that green. It's like a very medical green.
Yeah, it's like old medical green, army, military green. Like it's just like a fatigue green almost, but not like in actual fatigues. It's just like something maybe they would have used in an operating room in like the 40s or something.
Yeah, a lot of like 1940s, 1950s B movie callbacks. And yeah, that's an iconic outfit. I mean, yeah, everything, and we can get into Tim Curry in a second. I want to have a whole Tim Curry moment because he really is the reason for the season.
Yeah, he's the whole movie.
He is the whole movie. And that was the funny thing too, that when they did the film version, we were talking about like having celebrities in modern musicals. One of the things that's really unique about this movie, and also kind of why it flopped upon release, is because that there are not, other than Susan Sarandon and Barry Bostwick, they were like the newbies. They had a lot of the original cast in this movie. So the vibes you get in the movie are very much what was like the original stage show. They brought in Meatloaf, who played Eddie, from the LA production. So like how it worked with the stage show is they opened in London, they went to bigger and bigger theaters. Like they started in a 60-seat theater, moved up and up and up as it got more popular. They moved their production to LA. Tim Curry was the only one who could go with that production because of like stupid theater labor laws or whatever. And then right after that, they made the movie and they brought everybody along in it. Like everyone you see, like Patricia Quinn, who played Magenta, of course, Richard O'Brien as Riff Raff, they're all originals from that stage show. It's a very British production.
Yeah.
Except for Meatloaf and Susan Sarandon and Barry Bostwick.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going on my own tangent of like not knowing like the backgrounds of each character. I'm like, okay, there's Eddie all of a sudden. Meatloaf's riding in on a motorcycle and then they kill him. So I'm like, okay, what was the point of this? And then you see that like Columbia was really sad. She loved him a lot. She was obsessed with him. But I'm like, but why though? So
yeah, that part in the movie is not well explained. They kind of get into it during Dr. Scott's number later. They're singing about Eddie during the Thanksgiving dinner thing. It's very easy to miss. And I was going to say too, like, it's very much like this movie, like it kind of starts off strong and then it kind of like fizzes a little bit till the floor show at the end. And I feel like it's just one of those movies you watch late. And yeah, if you kind of like pass out for a little bit and then wake back up, you're not really missing anything.
It's a perfect mom movie.
Yeah, it's very like, oh, I'm going to go off and do another thing. I'm going to come back.
Or for Ryan. So if he falls asleep, it's like, oh yeah.
Yes, no, it's true. Like they're all very sleepy Scorpio babies. It's very formulaic. Like it follows like a certain structure. Eddie, yeah, the Eddie part, when I was rewatching this for the podcast with Ryan, he was like, why does Eddie come out of the freezer?
Yeah.
And I had to explain, I was like, well, he was kind of like a failed experiment and they removed half of his brain. You can see because he has a scar on his head. They removed half of his brain and put it into Rocky, the new experiment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was kind of getting that they were like almost brothers or something, or,
Yeah. And like Eddie was a problem.
One lacked, one had made up for in other areas. Yeah.
Because the major plot point is that Dr. Frank Enfurter is on the quest to build the perfect man. They're all aliens. from the planet transsexual from the universe of Transylvania. And just, you know, so I'm sure everybody who is listening understands context, but just so everyone's clear, we're saying transvestite because that's what they say in the movie. This was made in 1975. No one says this anymore. It's fine. Even like 15 years ago, RuPaul said it, and then they were like, you can't say that anymore. So anyway, context, people. So yeah, no, he's on the quest to like make a perfect man. So he makes Rocky, and Rocky is like this Charles Atlas like beautiful specimen muscle man. What did you think about Rocky and his whole look?
So I thought it was very He-Man, which I haven't seen. Or like almost, yeah, He-Man, and also who's the other one? Flash Gordon, which we'll save for another pod.
Yeah, you haven't seen Flash Gordon, but you know that reference.
Yeah, I know what he looks like. So it looks just like that. Very, very muscular. And I did like that, you know. I was like, I love that he's creating this monster, and I'm hoping to do the same. I would love to just like create somebody in a lab, maybe put a little robot in them, and then just be like, yeah, do my bidding.
I think it's so funny because we were like in conversation about what movie to do now.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I was really like on the fence, and I'm like, okay, let's do Rocky Horror. And it was so funny because at the same time we're texting about like how you find all modern men lacking, and that you just want a companion / sex robot that you can just tell what to do. And I was like, so you are Frankenfurter.
And I realized that after watching last night. I'm like, you know what? A lot of great thoughts going on in that head, because I think the same way. I'm not exactly finding what I really am truly desiring on the inside, outside, and everywhere in between. I would prefer to just create my vision and, you know, put some like printer ink in a tub and hope that something comes out of it. Yeah.
Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
No, I'm just saying that like he has clearly made other people as well. So it's not like, I don't know. I'm just saying that like we were talking about the whole robot thing. And it's like, yeah, at first never seemed interesting to me. Totally a bad idea, right? And then like as time goes on, and as like potential dating prospects and all of these things, it's just like there are none to be had. It's not that I don't have any, there's just not worthy enough. No offense, y'all. I just maybe you are. That's why you got to hit us up on social media. You got to send us emails. We want to know about you. And yeah, so I was just like really taken with the idea of like, okay, let me create what I want instead of just deal with what's around. So I appreciated that.
So like if you were creating your perfect man, since we've gone off on a tangent. Yeah, what Melanie's love connections, to keep it relevant to the movie, would your perfect man look anything like Rocky?
Not like a carbon copy, but I would say I appreciate the, you know, the physicality of Rocky. Yeah, no, I liked his 8-pack. That was cool. I didn't care for the hairstyle.
You weren't feeling that little bowl cut, that little surfer bowl cut he had going on?
No, not into the bowl cut. And I kind of want to mix in other people into Rocky's thing. And honestly, low key, I would want to mix a little Frankenfurter in there, if you know what I'm saying. Like, okay. he's got the charisma, he's got the uniqueness, he's got the nerve and talent, baby.
I was gonna say, every podcast you bring up charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
You have to, because he's got it. And if you don't got it, I'm not gonna bring it up.
Yeah, we can't not talk about Tim Curry. Like, how are you feeling, Tim Curry? So this was his hot. Yeah, this is his first. So he had done plays previous to this. He was famously in a production of Hair, and then he auditioned for Rocky Horror, the theater show. He sang, famously so, a Little Richard song. He just got up and sang Tutti Frutti. That was his audition song. and they're like, yeah, we need you for this part. And when they were making the movie version, I think there were talks about like, oh, maybe let's get Mick Jagger to play Frankenfurter. Let's get this famous person or famous rock star. And the director, Jim Sharman, was like, actually, no, like we need Tim Curry. There is no movie unless there's Tim Curry. Yeah, you felt about his performance hot.
I have no notes. You know what I'm saying?
You're like, I have nothing to say.
I have nothing to say. It was perfect. Like, even in the songs, the way his accent moves around, the way that like he just emotes and just gives off this like energy of like, I'm that guy, I'm that woman, I'm whoever you want me to be, I'm the one.
It's interesting because I've just finished Tim Curry's autobiography, Vagabond, out, available in stores now.
Yes.
little plug for the book that he just wrote. And it's interesting because he himself is such an enigmatic figure. He's very private about his sexual life. He doesn't really say one thing or the other. He says in the book, he's like, yeah, people ask me how to approach this role because there've been so many reboots of it in play form and shadowcast form. And he's like, yeah, you can't camp it up. He's like, I played Frankenfurter as a man. He's a man in heels. And that's how I wanted to play him. I don't think he has the words for it because he's older, but I think he said he's like pansexual. He didn't think of it as like a gay or a straight thing. He's just like, he wants to fuck everybody.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to fuck everybody. He doesn't have a problem with that. And then one thing that I thought was interesting that Tim Curry wrote was that he's like, yeah, they're not wearing costumes. They're all aliens, like all these weird people. They're wearing clothes that are normal to them. So they're not like putting on a thing. It's just natural. And I think that is the thing, Seisha, I think that's the thing that gives a lot of people who connect with this movie, like the sense of freedom. Cause you're just like, oh, right. They're not weird. Like Brad and Janet are the weird ones. They're just them. So like when you go into that world, it's like, oh wow, there's this world where like everything's weird and that's normal. And I love that. And yeah, Tim Curry has like that entrance he does when they're like backing out, they're trying to get out, and he's coming down that elevator and you see him for the first time. He like struts through the crowd and then he stands on stage and like whips the cape off. I think that's like maybe the best entrance in any movie ever. Like I think about it, I just get excited. I was like, his shoulders, like how he looks, his legs, like everything. I was like, this man created like so much sexual confusion for people. I can't even like, and again, like not to harp on this, but like this was 1975. This was a time in England where you could get fired for being gay. Your house could be taken away from you. You could get arrested if you were caught doing gay stuff in public. Like like all that stuff was very much like real at the time. So like, yeah, now it's hard, but like back then it was like really bad. And I just think of that all the time. I'm just like, imagine being like a little in the closet, like kid watching this back in the 70s. Like it would have blown your mind, you know, because I know it blew my mind. I was like, that was one of the, you know, I was like, how personal do I want to get on this podcast? But I was like, at the time I was like, oh, that's what I like. That's something I enjoy. You know, like,
oh yeah, I even feel that now. I'm like,
yeah,
but
come
like, on in.
come on. I like what you got.
Exactly. Your outfit's fierce. I would like to wear it as well. Let's match.
Yeah, and like rewatching it, I was forgetting all of the insane choices he makes. His accent work is so good. I know that he was trying to imitate the Queen of England at the time. He was also doing a little bit of his mother, who he said, you know, always wanted to be very posh, like more posh than like her middle class status. So it would be like, he heard like a woman on the bus who was like this very proper woman. She was like, do you have a house in the town or a house in the country?
Yeah.
And he was like, that's like how they speak. It's like very clipped. Oh, and another thing, I forgot how many times he breaks the fourth wall and looks at the camera.
Yeah, I did like that.
And I was like, oh, right, he's bringing us in. And it really gives you that feeling of like being in the stage show too. It's like, oh, we're here. and you're watching us and, you know, you're aware that you have an audience. And I just thought that was so cool. And I was just like, yeah, everything about his performance in my mind changed me personally. And then universally, I feel like I was like, Melanie cannot not see this. We were discussing this a lot because I believe this is the third Tim Curry movie we've done so far on this pod.
But what's crazy to me is like he did Worst Witch after this.
Yeah, he did, but like years after this.
Okay.
Like 10 years. It would have been 10 years after the fact.
Okay.
Tim Curry did The Worst Witch probably when he was financially struggling a little bit. And I don't want to spoil the book too much if you do plan to read it. I would suggest you read the book. He had a bit of a drug problem in the 70s and 80s. So I feel like he might have taken a lot of jobs. I'm sure he did it for creative reasons, but I'm sure like just sometimes he wanted that check.
You just gotta pay the bills, you know?
Yeah, it was hard, you know. You gotta make a living. His career has really been interesting. Yeah, I was reluctant to do it, and I was just like, I don't know. It's November, it's the 50th anniversary. You haven't seen so many Tim Curry movies. They're just gonna come up in the pod. So you know what? If you are a Tim Curry fan or you were moved by his work in the 80s or 90s or wherever you watched it, please stay tuned in because there's gonna be more. Is all I'm saying. Yeah, were you kind of were you following the plot, or were you just kind of vibing through this whole thing?
So I mean, the plot, it's not that it doesn't get lost, but they are taken on an adventure. So like the original part of like, I need a phone, my car's, you know, I blew a flat kind of thing, that goes away pretty quickly because they just keep ignoring that. And they're like, come on, you know, you're going to come do this now. Like now we're stripping you off. We're going to get you upstairs. You're going to see what I created because I'm a scientist, you know, I'm a doctor. And they go to the scene where you see Rocky for the first time. You see Eddie. I like that there's that crew, that like dance crew that kind of follows them around. They all have that like, I don't know what type of tux sort of outfit that is, but everybody's kind of wearing the same outfit.
Oh, those are all the Transylvanians.
The aliens.
They're more aliens, yeah.
They're just here to observe.
They're here. Well, they're here because Frankenfurter has built the perfect man, so they're here for the party.
I see.
And they're here to see like what he's done. Oh, I don't think we talked about it, but like the way that Frankenfurter creates Rocky is so wild. And just that whole, like you said, it's like what did you call it? Printer ink?
Yeah, it's like CMYK ink coming off of this thing, and it's
that's so funny. Yeah, I think it's great because it makes sort of like, it's this tub of water, they squirt all these colored dye things into it, and it becomes a rainbow. And I was like, oh, hello, messaging here.
Yes.
I don't know if they had a gay flag then, maybe. In 1975.
If not, they just made it.
They just made it, and it's in his birth tub. And yeah, the way he's revealed, like mummified, they peel all the bandages off of him. I just love that. I love the whole Rocky thing, and I love like how they do all these like old timey, like instantly he gets this present of like dumbbells, like this whole weight set that's like painted like peppermint. And I just like, for me, that's another special interest of mine. I'm a fitness girly. So I was like, ooh, you get a nice weight set on your birthday. And it's very like, he also gets a pommel horse that Frankenfurter proceeds to hump like very sexually.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all of these like layers of like what was traditionally known as like very like gay masculinity, sort of like the muscle man, you know, that sort of like
Gold's Gym,
Tom of Finland type stuff, where it's just like, oh yeah, they're like, so like you get to a point in masculinity, it's like if it's so masculine then it just becomes gay.
Yeah.
which is very funny to me because like I can speak with authority on this because I am in the fitness world. It's like a space that is obsessed with like alpha malehood. And I was just like, you know what, if you keep going that far, now you just gay.
Yeah, now you're just gay, and that's fine.
And
but
that's
just
fine.
know this.
Know that. Yeah. Like you like greasing up your abs 24/7
for the male gaze.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. Which is absolutely fine. Yeah, and I love the song Sword of Damocles, the one that Rocky sings like right out of his birth tub. I love that. All the numbers are so like upbeat and exciting. I think it's a really good musical, just from a music standpoint. And then it's sort of like, I feel like the pacing of it is pretty good. Like in the middle, it definitely gets like a lot of people I feel who go to the midnight showings, like, yeah, you're going to like sort of go to the bathroom or like get popcorn or something like midway, like when Dr. Scott shows up.
When he rolls in.
And it's funny because they don't do this in the movie, but in a stage play, Eddie and Dr. Scott are usually played by the same person.
Oh, okay.
So Eddie pops out, he does his number, he dies, is killed, and then like goes off, changes into the suit, gets in a wheelchair, and then comes out. So he has like, usually that actor has more to do.
I was gonna say, speaking of Thanksgiving,
yes, go on.
Considering I love the scene where they're having dinner and there's an electric carving knife, turkey knife, and he's out there slicing that bird up for everyone. I think it's Riff Raff who walks around, just starts throwing little pieces on everyone's plate, just like dropping it on with no care. They're pouring the wine just everywhere.
Yeah,
I love that. I go, this is the Thanksgiving I want this year. I feel like that would be dramatic.
I love so many characters in this, but I really love Magenta and Riff Raff and their connection. They're supposed to be like brother and sister, but there's also some like incestual alien vibes going on. Like you said, I love that you clock how low-key hot Richard O'Brien is.
Yeah. I mean, take that hump off, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yo, take that hump off. We can get into it.
Yeah. But I was bringing up the Thanksgiving part because they kind of bring up family at that point, because that's when it's Dr. Scott who mentions about his nephew, Eddie.
Yep. Dr. Scott is Eddie, the guy who died.
Yeah.
That's his uncle.
So he talks about how Frankenfurter is a pain in his mother's side and was a pain since the day he was born. So does he also know him in a familial way or maybe a neighbor way or something? I mean, obviously these are all the aliens, I'm assuming, that he's talking with, but
yeah, Dr. Scott is Eddie's uncle, and everybody at the dinner is acknowledging like how problematic Eddie was. And so like in a way they're trying to like justify his death, like Frankenfurter had to do it. So I feel like, yeah, Dr. Scott knows Frankenfurter through Eddie, but also their fellow scientists. So I think that's the connection. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, again, when Richard O'Brien wrote this, it was maybe like 40 minutes. And it was just like what you do in a lot of musicals is that you write the songs and you're like, okay, how do I make these fit into a story? So he had like a bunch of songs. He had a bunch of like bits and like ideas for characters. And they just sort of like made it work. And like a lot of those actors that you see in the movie, they just like, they were responsible for like fleshing out these parts, because I don't think that they got that much. So for instance, this is like a good segue. Like when Tim Curry was trying to create the role of Frankenfurter, he's like, well, how do you want him to sound? And like I said before, he eventually landed on this very like posh, sort of very upper class British thing. Originally, he read the character as German. So he wanted to be like, hello, I am that Frankenfurter. Yeah, exactly. Because he was going off sort of like old B movies. A lot of these villains were German, because think of the time they were made.
Right.
And so, and also like, it's very stereotypical, like evil German. I was thinking of Anthony Hopkins' accent in Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's like sort of just like a weird, German Dutch,
just something,
Just something, exactly.
Yeah.
I think Tim Curry also tried Frankenfurter as American, and they're like, no, like the kids have to be American, because they're like, the whole thing about the movie too that I love, it's like such a weird British perspective on like how Americans are obsessed with purity culture, with matrimony, like you said earlier, like it's still very relevant today. super relevant back then, this idea of like, oh yeah, like you just meet a nice girl and you give her a ring, and they're kind of like lampooning that in the beginning a little bit. They're just like, oh, these nice kids, you know. I think having the two Americans play Brad and Janet, it kind of adds to that level. Like they're very much outsiders.
Yeah, they're naive. They're kind of boring to say the least, but I thought Susan Sarandon, gorgeous.
Oh my God. Yeah. Stunning.
Gorgeous. And I know because I did watch like that, a part of an interview last night with her where she's saying like she's not like a singer, you know?
Right.
So she's kind of just like, I thought she killed it though.
She has I think her voice is really sweet. Like, no, she's not. I think if you have a choice in most musicals, especially a musical like this, where it's sort of like more poppy, if you can act and like really sell the part, you can get away with a lot of like not being able to sing well. Yeah. Unlike some other celebrity castings, which we might talk about in future pods. Stay tuned in because we might get into it. I think she does great. She's gorgeous, got gorgeous cleavage, hair. She's just
body is tea.
Body is tea, as the kids say. Yeah, no, she famously had a really bad time, I think, on this shoot because they didn't have a lot of money. It was sort of independently backed by, I think it was the director, and then there was like a music producer whose name was Lou Adler, who had a lot to do with the production. They just like had like $1 million, which sounds like a lot, but is not a lot.
Right.
For a movie, like a single $1 million. They had 6 weeks to shoot. The castle that they were shooting in, which is a place that you can go, which is a hotel now.
Ooh.
They famously like restored it. Like when they shot it there, the whole building was about to be condemned and torn down because it was this old castle that they used in like Hammer horror. Do you know like those kind of movies from the 60s? Like the old Dracula, the old like Frankenstein movies in Britain. They were about to tear it down and they were like, no, we're going to use this for Rocky Horror. The ceiling was leaking. It was freezing. There was no heat. Susan Sarandon famously got pneumonia.
Yes.
And just had to like work through it. So good on her for like dealing with that and still pulling out like a great performance. Her and Barry Bostwick both do a great job. They're just running around in their underwear the whole time and being like sexually harassed.
My favorite scene, Dr. Frankenfurter comes into Janet's room under the guise of being Brad. And she's like, oh, Brad, oh, yeah. And then, like, all of a sudden, oh, you know, I'm not Brad.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, wait. And then she, like, gives into it. And I was like, ooh, girl.
Yeah, she turns pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. She turns on a dime. And then I love it because it cuts to go to Brad's room. It's the same scene. And I was like, oh, yeah, Brad wants it too. And that's kind of where I was like, wow, like I love this character even more than I thought I could possibly. So
those were both very, how do I want to say,
formative scenes.
But they're very formative scenes for sure. I think that they wanted to go a little further with the Brad scene, but because I mean they went about as far as they could.
They went pretty far.
They went pretty far. Yeah, and then of course Janet eventually ends up with Rocky, which everybody loves. Touch me.
I love that too because it's Magenta and Columbia sitting back watching this and I'm like, this is just me watching Love Island.
I was gonna say like that, like either wanting to play Columbia or Magenta, that scene in particular, them watching other people do it on like CCTV and making fun of them was like in their jammies, like painting each other's nails. I was like, this is the girl vibe I love.
Yeah,
I'm like,
too.
Who can I do this with? Yeah, no, just gotta like sit and watch some trash show happen and make fun of them.
I'm your girl because I love trash.
I guess we'll have to watch Love Island together.
Yeah, I'll get you into it. Every season's different. It takes you on a different journey, but you gotta appreciate that they all commit to the bit and that the style of it is more unique in that of like something like The Bachelor, where it's like all for one, where it's like this is the idea of having multiple people, which kind of like, you know, is a similar vibe in Rocky Horror because he also says that like I believe Columbia was created too Was she a creation of his? That's what I clocked something about her saying that, like.
Oh, that's a great, that's something I've watched it hundreds of times. I don't know if I've ever clocked that. So maybe you help me learn something new. Let's see.
I catch them details. I always catch the details.
You're always very interested in like connections between people.
I love that. I do.
Yeah. Was Columbia made by Frankenfurter? I would ask Siri, but I think that would be too much for her. No, Frankenfurter did not create Columbia. She is a human groupie from Earth who became a devoted follower of him. So yeah, no, she was just a fan. She was just a human fan.
Oh, okay.
But she fell in love with Eddie because Columbia loves a bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She can't resist a rebellious streak, and she also likes him a little stupid. She likes a dumb guy with a motorcycle.
And that's fair. A lot of people do.
So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, this is one you can go as like shallow or as deep with it as you want, because there's a lot of room for interpretation. And like you said, it is iconic in the sense that like, yeah, maybe the first time you watch it, it's like you absorb some of the details, but it will reward you upon rewatch. And like I said, people, it's funny, like I was doing a little bit of research and I was looking up, like there's a lot of like older websites, because these websites have been up since like the 90s, and they're like fan groups in your area. And I actually looked, I'm like, are there places in Michigan where you can go see it? And they do have it,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they definitely have, groups in New York, basically any major city. I know that Trixie Mattel famously was in the Shadowcast in Wisconsin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and played like multiple parts. I think this was one of her first experiences in drag.
And I wanted to also bring up the connection that I think Jinx is just Columbia.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm positive that Jinx Monsoon has seen Rocky Horror multiple times. Obviously. There are certain drag queens you're just like, yeah, it's usually the ones who are like more theater geeky, who have done musical theater.
They look like genetically related,
You're like, yeah, that is your twin.
That is your twin, girl. I had found her.
Yeah, it's definitely like at the intersection between rock and roll and theater and being a nerd and being a goth. It's like basically everybody who's not a jock gets to sit at the same table,
or like an all-American, like.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll even say, like, I was thinking about that too. I was like, the part of Rocky is one of those things, like if you did this in a high school, which like, I don't know if that would ever be allowed, maybe in college, if you did a production with younger people, you would need like a jacked guy to play Rocky. And that's like, there's some parts in certain musicals where you just need like a big bulky guy to play a part, and that is a way that like you get jocks into musical theater. And there is crossover potential, because like everybody needs a big beefy dude sometimes. There's a famous story where Richard O'Brien, this is how him and Tim Curry connected over the musical, because Tim Curry saw Richard O'Brien walking out of a gym in London, like back in the day. And he's like, what were you doing at a gym? He was like, well, I'm looking for a muscle man.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, well, what do you need a muscle man for? And Tim Curry heard about the part of Rocky. He originally auditioned for that. And they're like, no, you have to be Frankenfurter, because you've got that charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
Thank you. The je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, I mean, what would you rate this movie? There's a lot of stuff going on, so
a lot of stuff. I'm gonna give it a solid 8.5.
Okay,
like a good, almost like a B+. I liked it a lot. I definitely think that I need to see it, in person, like you said, at a showing. And I just like really fell in love with Tim Curry in a totally different way, and I'm here for it. Yeah, I was taken with his performance. Also, can we have to back up just a tiny bit?
Yeah, of course.
There's also the narrator during this whole thing.
The criminologist, he's called.
Yeah. So he was great because he kind of like helped like move the story away, like along logically. I think, like kind of like going back and forth and saying like this was a crime scene or something, and then also like now this is what happens. And then he gets into the dance, and it's just like, it's funny to watch him do it too. So I like that there was that narrator guy.
I think that they added that later because they're like, yeah, we need somebody to kind of explain what's happening, sort of like as a narrative thread. I think that they were trying to do like a take on Alfred Hitchcock a little bit, you know, how he would introduce his shows a little bit and be like, okay, so this is what's happening if you're confused. Or like a Twilight Zone kind of thing too. It's funny you bring up the criminologist because it wasn't like a full production. It might have just been a one-off show. But after Tim Curry suffered his stroke, this was like after he had rehabbed his speech and, you know, gotten some of his faculties back, he played the criminologist in a production, which, because, you know, he can do it seated the whole time. And I just thought that was really sweet. Like, you know, him coming back years later and playing that part. Because, yeah, most of what he can do now is like do voiceover. Like that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been like very involved. It's great to see him. Like he's always coming up like on my YouTube now because people are interviewing him more, what with the 50th anniversary and everything. And he just like, he seems to really appreciate the fan base. Another thing I got from the book is that like, it's funny how baffled he seems about like how people will just come up to him and be like, you opened me up sexually, you changed my whole life, like all this stuff. And he seems like a very like shy and private person. And his whole attitude is like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
like he just doesn't get it. And I'm like, you're looking at this guy on screen, you're like, how do you not see that?
Right. You were it at some point, and also it
you
later.
Were it and also it. Yeah, that's the thing too. He said like, yeah, his most rabid fans are like the fans of Rocky Horror, and then also like horror fans who love him as it, and they always want him to like do either voice at any time. He's incredible. Definitely like life-changing role. I think like the movie would have been good either way, but with him, he really does. I think we can say that it really makes the movie. I can't give this unbiased rating because again, it's such an emotional movie for me. Weirdly, it's like such a personal movie. I gotta give it an A, even though like knowing its flaws. But even like upon rewatch, like last night after like the 100th whatever time, I was just like, this is a good musical, and like it actually really like moves. Is the plot a little thin? Sure. But Richard O'Brien wrote him some songs and he was like, we got to make a musical out of this. I just want to say too, like another shout out to hot Richard O'Brien, who uses he, him pronouns, but like identifies as third gender, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is very interesting. I just love his voice. Like I love his speaking voice and I love his singing voice. Like the one part that I think of a lot is like when they find the creepy castle and they're singing There's a Light and they keep walking to her, and then you see Riff Raff up in like the top window and he sings and he has this very like high kind of like rock and roll glam rock kind of falsetto voice, and it just gives me chills every time I hear it. I was just like, I just want to play that all the time. I love him. Like watching this movie, I'm just like, I get so excited about like playing music or performing or like dressing up. It just like gets you excited to like be creative. And I think that's like why it still hits like 50 years later. Like people watch it and they're inspired. And I think some of the inspiration too comes from sort of like, I don't know another word other than like the jankiness of the production. It has a very much like, hey guys, let's just make a movie.
Right.
And I think we've talked about that before in like other podcasts. It's like, yeah, like what, we don't need it to look perfect. We don't need to use AI. We don't need to like gloss everything down and have everybody, nobody needs like perfect teeth to be hot or perfect skin.
Oh no.
Everyone's just working it. and everyone looks a little busted. They're probably freezing.
Yeah.
Everyone's like got pneumonia.
The shrinkage.
Yeah, no, it's too cold in there to be doing anything, probably. I'm glad you enjoyed it. There is a sequel. It's called Shock Treatment. We probably won't watch it for the pod. It's not, there's a lot of mixed reviews on Shock Treatment. It was sort of universally panned and not as well received.
Well, does it have any of the same characters, or is it like?
Oh yeah. And so they did the movie, and basically the whole cast returned except Tim Curry, Susan Sarandon, and Barry Bostwick.
Well, forget it.
Yeah, it's like, but they're all the same characters, like Brad and Janet are in it. And like basically the short version is Brad and Janet go back to Denton, Texas, where they're from. They get married, and then like their whole town gets taken over by like reality TV, and they're kind of stuck there, sort of like a Truman Show. It's actually very like ahead of its time, because like reality TV wasn't a thing back then. So this idea of like living in a town where you're like constantly observed, and then like I think Brad goes to like the mental hospital. It's like it's a famous like mess of a movie. It definitely has fans, but it is not like as well received or as iconic as Rocky Horror. But it's one of those like culty movies that like there's a lot of like rock musicals of this time, which Shock Treatment, Phantom of the Paradise. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's, oh my God. Okay. Listeners, I got a whole list of musicals here, and I want you to email us and be like, VHS Sisters, we want you to do some musicals, or do you not care about musicals? Because I could talk about musicals forever, but I do fully realize it is my special interest, although I do hate a lot of musicals.
Sure. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that all are good. You know, it's just something where you have to find the ones that you like.
Yeah, it's like there's a difference between being like a Wicked musical person. I'm not saying I'm not like a Wicked super fan. Some people get into it.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate a lot of things about the musical. I'm like not to be that girl, but I'm talking about things like Company. I'm talking about things like Sweeney Todd. I'm talking about
Sweeney Todd.
Into the Woods. I'm talking about like, and specifically like stage productions are really, really good. It's hard to have a successful movie musical. The only one I think that is like super successful is Chicago, with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Renee Zellweger. Which
you don't think Grease was successful?
I have a lot of feelings about Grease. You've seen it, right?
Of course, it had me in a chokehold as a child.
You loved Grease. Have you seen Grease too?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's going on the list, baby. We're going Grease 2. Grease 2 is one of those things, like this is a common conversation that'll come up with like musical fans. They'll be like, are you a Grease fan or are you a Grease 2 fan? And Grease 2 arguably has better songs, but I understand why people like Grease, even though all the teenagers in that are like fully 40.
Yeah, but they really give it to us. I love Olivia Newton-John in it. And it's one of those movies I watched a million times as a kid. So I can sing you all the songs.
Incredible.
Later.
I like, we got to talk more about musicals, because I guess I am not fully aware of what your musical education is.
You're not aware of my game.
I'm not aware of your musical game. Maybe we should do some musical karaoke and really alienate all the fucking losers who don't like that kind of stuff, because you know what? It's your chance to show off your vocal chops. And we both have vocal chops. So, you know, that's how you know that you're really that you're talented, you're team talent, like we say.
Yes, team talent.
Yeah, we might have more musicals. What I would love is for our fans to engage with us on social media. Melly's going to make some more TikToks. I know she is. She's going to make some more. She's going to put them up there. You can leave your little comment and your little like. And you know what we would also love? We would also love a review. So if you could go on Apple Podcasts and just say something nice. You don't have to like simp over us or anything, but we don't mind if you do.
Not at all.
You can just leave a couple nice things about us and say, you know what, you enjoy listening to us while you're washing the dishes, you're riding the subway, you're driving in the car.
Yeah.
You're doing whatever. You're just vibing.
Doing laundry, cleaning the house.
Maybe you just recently watched one of these movies we talk about, or you want to, and you just want to like hear another, this helps you remember things. That's the thing too about rewatch podcasts is that you have the art, and then when you talk about it, that's when your brain really remembers. That's all I gotta say about that. Yeah. Anything else you want to leave us with, Melanie, before we sign off?
I just want to leave it with two thoughts. I thought that with this film, being a science fiction sort of picture show, it's like more women, gays, and theys in STEM. This is inspiring me, to think a little more scientifically and get into that whole range.
Wow. So I'm sorry, you watched Rocky Horror Picture Show. You watched Dr. Frankenfurter, the transsexual from Transylvania, make a man in a lab. And you're like, you know what? I want to be a woman in STEM.
Yeah, come on. And everyone's helping him too. Like, his cast of characters, they're helping too. So it's like, come on.
So you want the ability to get an advanced degree in science, and you also want a supportive group of peers who appreciate your work.
And I want to create a man in a lab.
I want a hot man with muscles.
Think about it. You could like change the voice at any time. You could change the hair, like everything. Just pour a little printer ink on them and you're going to fix it all up. Put a bow on it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we have the technology now. I think you can just order something from Japan.
It's getting more and more advanced every day. And it does scare me, but it also thrills me, if you know what I'm saying.
I think that's what this movie is supposed to do too. It's supposed to thrill you.
It did. It definitely thrilled me. I liked it a lot, and I will be watching it again.
Hell yeah. Yeah. We're going to go to a live show. That's on the books. We saw puppets in person. We're going to go see Rocky Horror in person.
Yes.
And we can document it for all our fans.
I love it. Okay, guys, don't forget, don't dream it, be it. Okay. Get out there and just do it.
That's right. That's our quote for today. Don't dream it, be it. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of VHS Sisters.
We hope you've had a fun and cozy time.
Please consider liking, leaving a review, and following us on your podcast platform of choice.
If you'd like to chat with us, please email us at VHSsisterspodcast@gmail.com.
Love you. Bye. That's it.